When you watch beginners spar, they don't land a lot of punches. A lot of leg kicks maybe, and a lot of swatting at each other's gloves, but no real great punches land. And if you ask them what they're having trouble with, they'll tell you, I'm having trouble getting inside and landing punches. If you're having trouble getting inside and landing punches, just a guess, it's not going to be true for everyone, but just a guess, it's got nothing to do with your punches. It's got nothing to do with your hands. It's your feet. It's your footwork, obviously. And you probably already get that. Oh, you got to use footwork to get inside to land punches. Footwork and head movement. Footwork and head movement. But there's a deeper problem, like a primal problem, like on a basic level, there's a problem in here. I'm going to cover like a few quick ways. We'll run through this real quick. A few quick ways to move forward while punching. We've done in-depth videos on all of them. I'll put a playlist at the end if you want to watch all that stuff. But like, look, we step 1, step 2. Bop, 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 bop. And no, this won't really materialize just like this in fighting. You don't have to do this in sparring or do this in fighting, but you need to be able to. And you think like, oh, come on, Mike, like anybody could do this. Anybody could do this. You think that, but most people that walk through that door can't do it. Usually it looks more like this. Chances are, if you've never gone up and down your hallway, going like this, that's probably how you look. The reason that you have trouble getting inside to land punches is because you're so worried about getting out without getting punched that you do neither very well. You think like, oh, I need to hit him like this, and what most people won't do is bring their feet with them. A lot of times it comes from too much time on the bag, because you can bounce off of the bag. Too much time on the bag, not enough shadow boxing, gets you off balance when you throw your punches. You got to bring your feet up underneath you. The problem is people think, well, I'm going to get hit. No, well, maybe. Yeah, sure. Sometimes, hey, we get hit, but we're fighting. When you bring your feet with you and you stay properly balanced, I now have my hips behind my feet and can actually effectively push myself away or push myself to the side, which balance and keeping my hips between my feet is sort of the key to mobility, is also sort of the key to being able to throw punches while moving and to be able to throw punches no matter where I end up at. We've got all types of footwork. It's not just step with the left and punch with the left, step with the right and punch with the right. Boom, boom. If you want to, someone asked me about stepping on the hook. The simple, basic, most vanilla way that's like this is you just sort of skid out like a bike and you go boom. You step that foot, boom. I've got my hip inside this foot, this hip inside that foot. I could push either way and punch with either hand. I can move, boom, I can get back. What you usually get is people going like this, putting too much weight out over their feet. When people are under stress, their movements become too big. The difference between a punch barely grazing me and a punch doing significant damage to me is that much, right? This punch doesn't hurt, just touches. Add an inch to it, and that stings a little bit. Add 2 or 3 inches to it, and that's moving my brain around. If you step an inch here, you just gain 2 inches of ground. Step inch and a half here, inch and a half here, we just gain 3 inches of ground. Even if I go big, I still keep the movement tight, and I go boom. I just added 6 inches, which I'm told is pretty significant. But it's harder than you think, especially when someone's trying to punch you, to move forward. And generally, you'll get too big a motion, which is understandable because some of our examples, you have people winning UFC championships, throwing fastballs, like going like way off balance. But the decision to go that far off balance was informed by a lot of experience, and honestly, that doesn't make it not a mistake. The people winning at the highest levels are still making lots of technical errors. All we can do is try to minimize those in training. So some simple basic footwork. Step 1, step 2. Bop, 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 bop. You should be able to stop at any time. A lot of times what people will do is they'll go step 1, step 2, and if I told them to freeze right now, they would eventually fall over because they're not in charge of their feet. They're your feet. Put them where you want them. Step 1, step 2, I could stop right now if I want to. change my mind, go this way or this way. So it doesn't have to be 1, 2, 1, 2, or, 1, 2, 1, 2. You could very easily go 1, 2, 1, 2, stop at any point, change, go bigger, more dynamic, right? But no matter where I'm at, however fancy you want to get, even if I can stop at any point. No matter where you're at, I could stop at any point. You could stop. Stop. You have to be able to stop. In order to stop, you have to have balance and control. Beyond the fear of getting hit and trying not to bring too much of yourself over there, that's exhausting. Do you know why? You use the muscles that we don't use in the regular world out there. You're using your leg muscles all the way around. You're using your good girl muscles, your bad girl muscles. We're using all these muscles to push and pull in ways that if you're not actively playing a sport that requires you to change directions, you don't use them a lot. So it uses more energy. When we stand up tall and pitch ourselves forward and allow our feet to come up underneath us, that requires less energy. So I guess the reason you're having trouble getting in and landing punches is because you're scared and you're lazy. Which we're all kind of scared and lazy. We're talking about people going to punch us in the face. How do we get better at this? We make a decision. I'm too far away to punch. I need to practice my footwork and head movement. Too far away to punch. Step 1. Step 2. And that puts me like, ooh, really good in there. Really good close range for this punch. If you want to get more whimsical, right? We get step 1. Step 2. Right? And this puts me in range for this shot. But what most guys will do is they'll try to make that too big. They'll be like, ah, ah. They get super big, putting them off balance. They're less efficient with their energy. They're more predictable. Small little adjustments. If I'm too far away to punch, this would be like sparring range with a person. Like neither one of us can really hit each other. We're checking each other out. I step a little bit with this one. I step a little bit with this one. And I'm just in range. Just in range to land that punch. Just a couple of inches with each foot puts me there. It doesn't need to be these big, huge movements where I'm throwing myself off balance and launching my body weight into each step. Boop, boop. But this requires like way more control over your legs, right? Boom, boom. I'm tensing and flexing all the muscles in my legs at different times. Now you can also relax, move around a little bit, right? We could play a little bit. But when you want to make your move, it has to be balanced. Balance and control are probably the two things that I think most beginners need to work on. It's hard to do when you're getting beat up in sparring, but that's where you need to focus. Not on tricks, not on shenanigans, not on big dynamic movement. Balance and control. It's not fun. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. But ultimately, you're going to be better off because of it.